Conference, August 2020. We're joined online by BetMakers. BetMakers is a wagering technology and data partner for some of the world's most recognised and respected bookmakers and rights holders. It develops and provides data and analytic products for the B2B wagering market and the production and distribution of racing content. The group's revenue channel includes Australia, the UK and the US. The company recently raised $35 million via a placement to accelerate its growth, particularly in the USA. We'll soon hand over to BetMakers CEO Todd Buckingham. Todd has more than 20 years' experience working in the sports and wagering industry in Australia. While working as a high school PE teacher, he also worked as a sports manager at a successful sports management company, NSRT, where he negotiated more than $20 million worth of sporting contracts, culminating in his appointment as managing director. Todd has been at the helm of BetMakers for more than a decade. Over to you, Todd.
Thanks, Laura, and thanks very much for having us. And I'd like to thank Simon and Alex and the team at NWR for putting on the conference, and thank you guys for listening in. I'm going to try and get through a fair few of these slides nice and quickly, give you a bit of an update on the last quarter, and then also we're going to hand over for some questions, which I'm sure there's a few coming in. So just an overview of BetMakers. We provide essential services to the racing industry, racing bodies and rights holders, racing authorities from around the world, and then we deliver that to wagering operators or bookmakers around the world as well. So what we do for racing authorities, we've got integrity systems, we do official pricing solutions, we compile their data, do the vision as well, and we compile that into a solution so bookmakers can take that in a normalized format no matter where it's coming from around the world. Because we're able to do that for the bookmakers, we package that up and do all of their race day controls, and then we add on a bunch of services and products onto that solution so they have a normalized solution across their racing offering, whether it comes from UK, Australia, US or other parts of the world. We've rolled out a number of products through that platform, such as Price Manager, risk management solutions. We also now just introduced managed trading services. So who uses our service? There's a bunch of operators and a bunch of racing bodies from around the world. You'll see there's a fair list of people that you probably know here in Australia. From the racing bodies perspective, we deliver all the on-track solutions for the racetracks around Australia, such as Racing New South Wales, Racing Victoria, and any of the other racing bodies here in Australia. You'll see on that side there's bodies from the US, from the UK, Mexico, Canada. So we deliver a lot of solutions from around the world into Australia, and then also into the UK markets. And now we have moved into the US market as well. From an operator perspective, you can see the who's who of wagering around the world, who we deliver to, most of the operators here in Australia, but then into the UK market as well. And our recently announced deal that we've done with PointsBet to deliver their solution, their racing solution for them into the US market. There's a bunch of those operators there that you'll see who are also entering into the US market, who we expect to partner with in those markets as well. So the overview of our operations, sorry, go down. Sorry about that. So just want to touch on our Q4 highlights, which is the quarterly insights into the business. We had a strong fourth quarter. Improved receipts, $2.4 million in Q4 receipts from customers, which is up about 40% quarter on quarter. We're positive cash flow for the last quarter of FY20. The company's got a very strong balance sheet. As Laura had mentioned, we did a capital raise that netted us about $33 million. We paid off about $4 million in debt, and we ended the quarter with about $31.6 million cash balance on 30 June. The growing revenues, so the June 2020, we've announced to the market unaudited revenues in excess of $1 million, which is up a fair bit from from previous months. We've done a product expansion, which is launched managed trading services, which launched mid-June as well, which was very successful. And then our US operations, US expansion, we secured the rights for the on-course fixed odds operation for Monmouth Park in New Jersey. Again, that's a managed trading services, which we'll talk about a little bit further down the slide deck. So the managed trading services and platforms, you'll see here, these are a bunch of on-course bookmakers that have come online in the Australian market. robwaterhouse.com, BBet and Bet Deluxe, a couple of operators who, again, were on course with the pandemic, have had to bring their solutions online. And we've been able to roll out a very successful solution for those guys. And then Rob Waterhouse, who's taken our full package solution, which is a platform, mobile solutions, right through to managed trading services as part of our agreement with Rob. Again, very successful launch in the last month, and we're pretty excited about where these bookmakers can end up in the next 12 to 24 months. The Global Racing Network is an explanation to what we're currently doing, from grabbing data from around the world, packaging up into a full solution. The idea for Global Racing Network is to provide a transparent, commercialised, and more importantly, with an integrity focus on horse racing wherever your solution goes around the world. Whether you're an Australian operator or Australian racing body delivering into the UK market or the US market, the Global Racing Network is there to give you a full solution to access those operators wherever they are. We generally operate, or always operate, in a regulated market. And for the wagering operator, it provides access to racing content from around the world in a uniform sense. So that's your data stream, your race day controls. It gives you consistent product across whether it's a domestic racing or international racing. Gives you that consistent product that you can then offer to your customers. The racing bodies, they get direct access to some of the world's largest operators. We've recently announced that we do Monmouth Park distribution globally. We're able to get that on approximately 20 of the major operators globally within a matter of weeks after doing that deal. So that just gives you an example of how a single track can get access to a big bunch of bookmakers from around the world. From the operators, as I mentioned, they get a full turnkey solution. That includes their race day controls, enhanced data packages. We also provide a racing channel for them. So we grab their vision, whether that's coming from or any racetrack around the world. We package that up into a single solution for them and deliver that in a customized version on their platform with their own branding and pricing over the top of it. From there, we can also provide pricing and trading solutions for the operators as well. Our acquisition and retention platforms. You'll notice the website on the left here, which we've highlighted, which is Dynamic Odds. We're really excited about this. It's a brand new format for Dynamic Odds. We've rebuilt the platform in a new technology, and that's due to get released in the next couple of months, bleeding into the spring racing carnival. So really excited about that full back-end redevelopment, which allows us to do a whole range of different things and provide better solutions for our customers as well. It's a real retention and an acquisition tool for operators. Using that technology, we partnered up with Tom Waterhouse, which is his app that you'll see there on the right-hand side. That app has just gone out to market, so I think it's been live for about 3 weeks. It's been highly successful in acquisitions of customers, and the feedback on that, while it's only in really beta phase, has been really positive. So we're excited. We've got 6 or 7 bookmakers that are already on the platform, and another 3 or 4 bookmakers from the Australian market that will go live in the next week or 2 as well. So really excited about how that product will roll out. So moving on to the US opportunity, there's at the moment there's 14 states that have legalised sports betting. There's a further 7 states that have passed a bill to legalise betting. So it's starting to roll out into global market, into the US market. From a racing perspective, which is where BetMakers fits in, it currently generates about $15 billion per annum in parimutuel horse racing. And there's currently no fixed odds horse racing betting in the US. We've obviously flagged to the market that we think New Jersey will be the first state that offers fixed odds racing, and we've positioned the company quite well to capitalise on that opportunity. So BetMakers, where they're positioned, look, the potential New Jersey market, there's only 3 racetracks there. Predominantly it's one Gallops track, which is Monmouth Park and Meadowlands Racing. Freehold only does 1 or 2 meetings a year. We're looking to bring other US content into that New Jersey market. There's a lot of racing that goes on in the US, and to give you some sort of idea, it's about twice as much as the Australian market in terms of how many races they do per year. We also have the opportunity to bring international content into that US market via the New Jersey deal as well. So BetMakers, we've signed an exclusive deal in New Jersey and with Monmouth Park and the New Jersey Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association. There's 2 parts to that deal. Firstly is to manage the fixed odds betting across all operators in New Jersey on behalf of the horsemen. Secondly is to provide a managed trading services solution at the Monmouth Park Racebook. So just touching on the first component, any operator that is licensed in New Jersey and that wants to bet on fixed odds horse racing in New Jersey will need to do a deal with the horsemen and via the BetMakers Association. So we're still awaiting the final structure of the New Jersey regulatory framework, which we've flagged to the market previously. It's just to ensure that all rights holders, including our partners, the New Jersey Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association and Derby developments, are covered and protected as well. So while there's no time frame that's been given to us on that, it is currently under review. We've signed exclusive deals as well, which we've announced, which is an exclusive deal with up to 10 tracks in the US market. And that's to not only do fixed odds betting in New Jersey, but it also covers the other US markets as well, the other US states as they roll out. So quite excited about that. And the other thing that we'd like to point out is that we've signed with PointsBet, which we've recently announced, and that's to help out the PointsBet guys with all of their fixed odds for horse racing in that US market. They're doing quite well in the Australian market here, which we partner with them on and provide them with all of these services for the Australian offering. So rolling out into that US market, we're excited about what PointsBet can do as well. So that probably covers the overview, Laura. If there's any questions there that we'd...
Yeah, thank you so much, Todd. That was a great overview. Maybe if you just want to linger on that side, actually, that might be helpful. So a question came through about racetracks in the US and Canada. So how many are there, and how do you look at that in terms of a market opportunity?
Yeah, look, there's as you can point out in that last slide, they currently only do parimutuel horse betting across North America at the moment. There's about 87 racetracks, that's thoroughbred tracks. There's about another 30 or 40 harness tracks as well. We're looking to partner up with any track that is looking for a solution to roll out fixed odds into operators and would like a full package solution that they could deliver to operators.
What's your next state after New Jersey, just to recap?
Well, if you look on that this slide here, there's 14 states that have legalised sports betting. It makes sense to track that market. We do really want to concentrate on the New Jersey market and make sure that we get that right. It's important for us that not only do we launch into a state, but we launch into it and be successful. So we are concentrating heavily on New Jersey, making sure that is right from a regulatory sense and from a data delivery and what the operators get. We want them to be successful. We want the racetracks to be successful as well. And so we get that right, and then we can roll out into those other states and follow the trend of sports betting.
Can you give us a bit of detail, Todd, around the ease or the difficulty with signing that last lot of states in the US?
Look, it comes down to the performance of New Jersey. I think there's a lot of eyes on how New Jersey works and how that rolls out. So as I pointed out, it's important for us to get that right. And if we get that right, then I think the other states will become a lot easier than what we've experienced. Look, this is something that's been talked about for as long as I've been involved in the game. You know, parimutuel betting on horse racing in the US has been legal over there for many years. There's been mention of fixed odds, and we're the first ones to be able to come up with a framework that can solve everybody's problems, all the stakeholders that are involved. So it's exciting for us that, you know, we can get everybody on the same page as like we have with the New Jersey market, and we expect the other states to roll out a lot faster than getting over the first hurdle.
A couple of questions, Todd, now around particulars. Question around whether you could give an update or just confirm expected timings on the Monmouth Park approval for us.
Yeah, we haven't got any time frames that we can give on that. It's something have been working on now for a couple of months. What I can say is that there's a lot of stakeholders that are all working together to ensure that it gets done and gets done properly. So yeah, while we can't give any time frames, we're confident that it's imminent.
Maybe the same for this one too. Is there a timing update though on the decision by the New Jersey Racing Commission to launch fixed odds?
No, there's no timing update.
And just to recap, Todd, who would you say, in your own words, are the top 3 competitors to your business?
Look, we're fortunate in the horse racing sense that you know, we have concentrated on horse racing just generally because we're an Australian company that operates in a horse racing market. It's one of the countries that is just horse racing is the most dominant sport. So we're, in terms of competitors, there's a lot of people out there that do things similar to what we do in some form or shape, but not as comprehensive as what BetMakers does. So you know, probably similar to what we do with sports. There's companies like BetRadar, BetGenius or Genius Sports, Sporting Solutions, SB Tech, and those guys. But in a horse racing sense, we've got a bit of a run at it.
People are really interested in hearing more about this fixed odds business. Do you have a view on how expensive it will be for bookies to offer fixed odds on racing in the US market?
Look, we're trying to use the same framework that is here in Australia, and I know it's taking a number of years for this market to settle down with regulators, rights holders such as the racing bodies trying to get the right balance between how much they can charge an operator and how much revenue they can take. I think it's really settled into being a successful market at the moment. I think what we've found in the last 6 months from an operator perspective, you know, their offering now has actually shown to carve out a decent margin for them. The racing bodies are getting a good cut out of the offering as well. So I think we've got a really good model here in Australia, and that's the similar model that we're taking into the US market. So for those operators over there, we're looking to do a revenue or a percentage of turnover model in the US market, and that's circa 2.5–3% of turnover to do the fixed odds betting over there.
One final question, Todd. Could you perhaps give us some colour or detail around potential future acquisitions, or how are discussions coming along with that? Yeah,
we flagged to the market that we want to do some, you know, have a look at what's out there and see what companies are available that would be complementary to our offering. Without sort of sharing too much, we have, you know, are looking at a few different options, and which we're excited about, both in the Australian market and the US market. However, we can't divulge any details at this stage.
No worries. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Todd. It was great to hear from you and hear a little bit more about BetMakers.
No worries, and thanks very much to NWR for putting the show on.
Thank you.